You know, a 250-yard drive isn't impressive if it only happens once every 10 times. Howdy, folks. This is 3-Putt Paulie here, aka the Golf Tech Nerd, where I'm a regular golfer using data to make better decisions and improve my game. You know, a lot of what we talk about here will sound basic to some of you. The goal is to understand simple ideas well enough to actually use them, whether you're brand new to golf or have been playing for a long time. So today, I'm going to talk about something that actually lowers scores, why dispersion matters more than distance. When golfers talk about improving, distance usually is the first thing that comes up. How far did it go? Did it go farther than the last time? Now look, distance absolutely matters, but for most amateur golfers, distance isn't what's holding scores back. It's control. And dispersion is how we measure that control. So dispersion is simply the pattern your shots create over time. Not your best swing, not your worst one. The shape your misses make when you repeat the same swing. That's the part most scorecards never tell you. So tight dispersion means predictable golf. Wide dispersion means you're constantly scrambling. That difference shows up everywhere. Club choice, strategy, and scoring. So this is where I want to get very specific. The Callaway Paradigm was my gamer for a long time, since I started playing last summer. That's the club I trusted off the tee. That's the club I played all my rounds with. But over time, something just felt off, and I started to feel like I was losing control, managing misses more than I wanted to. It was hard left miss, hard right miss, inconsistent distance. So instead of guessing and going to a store and spending $600 on a new driver, I tested, and not just one or two drivers, but I ran a test of over a dozen legendary drivers from different eras that I've managed to collect the past year to see if anything stood out. These are big times: TaylorMade slider, R7 quad, Sumo from Nike, etc. Ping G2, Ping G10. These are legendary drivers that were played by the pros and won tournaments. So I wanted to try them out. Same golfer, same swing, same launch monitor, same session. I wasn't looking for the longest club this time. I was looking for the most playable pattern. So that process of the 12 drivers narrowed it down to 4 finalists against my paradigm. And from there, one club kept on separating itself. It just felt right. The Ping G2. Certainly not because it's newer, not because it's faster, but because the feel, the results, and the dispersion pattern all lined up. And the important part, the launch monitor came to the same conclusion I did independently. I went to ChatGPT and I uploaded my launch monitor data and said, based on these statistics, it's real data, which of these drivers, if any, stands out above the others? I felt in my heart the G2 was the best. Laying it down, looking at it, it felt great, sounds great. I felt more consistent with it, but I wanted to make sure that wasn't just me being a homer for that Ping G2. And ChatGPT came back and said, nope, you're absolutely right. The G2 is the top, and here's why. So I stopped second guessing and said, yep, the data backs up my feel. Feel in this case was real. So let me pull up the data. You can actually see it for you. All right, so here's the flight scope launch monitor session from my 4 finalists. The G2, Titleist 983K, the R7 Quad, the Callaway FTI, and against my Paradigm. I probably could have also included the Ping ISI, but I did not. Actually, it was an oversight. I meant to, but I forgot about it. So maybe anybody I know I will not do it again. I think I'm solid here. So I'm looking at carry distance right now, and you can see all the clubs, perform relatively similarly. As far as distance, my total distance is here. I'm not crushing the ball. I'm trying to carry on average 200 yards. I'm almost 60. Shoulders are not the best. My body rotation is not the best, but it works for me. So let's look at the paradigm. Total distance. Let's go to carry here. There's my paradigm. Pretty broad spread. 50 yards to the left or more, 25 yards to the right or more. I go to the G2, much tighter. Not as far, but I'm 35 yards to the left and maybe 35 yards to the right. So instead of a 100-yard wide dispersion, with the paradigm, I'm looking at about a 75-yard dispersion. If I look at the 983K, that was spread out. R7 Quad, kind of close. Callaway was close. G2 just was tighter. He just that squished down egg shape. It was just tighter dispersion. I want more consistency, make more fairways versus the paradigm, which was everywhere. So the data backed up my feelings that, the G2 felt the best. It wasn't just my heart. So a longer drive that misses doesn't save me strokes. I'm crushing the paradigm hard left, adding 30 yards, but out of bounds doesn't help me at all. So the uncontrollable driver, and then you think about the mental aspect of the game. You don't trust it. You're going to get the yips on the tees. What is it going to do? It's going to create recovery shots, awkward yardages, high stress decisions. A slightly shorter drive that the G2 gave me gives me more options and helps lowers my scores. So looking at the graphics here, it's side by side, longer, wider dispersion versus slightly shorter and tighter dispersion. There's no judgment here. This is raw data. So at the end of the day, this really wasn't a theory. I actually switched drivers, not because the Ping G2 is perfect, but because it gives me a pattern that I can trust. That's the entire point of this session today is, dispersion doesn't just explain shots, it explains decisions. So distance feels good. Dispersion keeps you focused on the hole and out of trouble. Now the goal isn't to hit it as far as possible. Maybe it is, but I got to fight that. But it is to hit far enough, often enough, and in play enough. And here's the part that I really want new golfers to understand. My best driver didn't come from the latest release cycle. It's not the new Callaway Elite, okay? It replaced a $400 club with a $6 bargain bin fine I got at Goodwill. Doesn't mean the old clubs are magic. It just means fit, feel, and dispersion matter more than age or price. So before you decide to chase the latest, greatest new driver from peer pressure, or you got a nice bonus at the job or whatever, try this instead. Visit a local golf shop. Hit your PGA Superstore, your Edwin Watts. Hit some used drivers. Give them some time. Pay attention to the patterns, not the peaks. Make sure you look at the launch monitor data. Don't just look at the carry and the total. Look at your dispersion. Remember, bad swings are part of the deal, but good data shows you which swings you can trust. Thanks for watching.